Sorry, is the audio not audible? The audio. Can you hear what they're saying?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning. Can we get started, Ola? Ola.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for joining. Good morning. I'm trying to confirm we have 49, we have 50 people now on the call. Let's wait for 2-3 more minutes to see if we can accommodate more people. All right, I think we can start now. Good morning, everyone, and you are welcome to this KSS session. All right, so without wasting much of our time, so that we can quickly go back to our various decks for our duties for the day, let me hand over to the team, to the IT team, to take us on the KSS session. Over to you, Daniel. Is Daniel on this call or any IT representative that is taking us on the KSS session? Gladys, please.
Hello. Hello, good morning, Olaloa. Good morning, everyone. Can we hear me?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear, Gladys. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Gladys.
Okay. So once more, everybody. Today we'll be taking us on a training session on Optima, a newly developed travel authorization platform. So taking us through the features and how to use the platform. So kindly confirm when you can see my screen. Okay, thank you. Okay, so to use Optima as an employee, you would get a notification in your mail that you'll be invited to use the platform. So that's the very first step using this platform. So I'll start from that point. So for the purpose of this training, I'll be using this mail. So can you confirm you can see my inbox? Can you see an email inbox on our screen?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. So when you receive these invites in your email inbox, the next thing you have to do is to accept the invites. So click on accept invites. Sorry, guys. Okay, so on accepting invites, you need to complete your account setup. So you need to add your employee details before you're able to access the platform. So as you can see, my email address is already pre-filled. Then I have to go on to enter my employee ID. I'm sure we all have employee IDs. Yes, sir.
Okay, so sorry, I was cut off. Good morning, everyone. I'm not exactly sure if we provided the needed background.
Okay.
If we provided the required background, what does this platform do? When is it meant to be used? Who is it meant for? I think we should provide that background information. If that has been done, that's fine. But if it has not been done, I think that would be a good one to start with, so that it's clear. Why are we even using this method?
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. I prefer a brief background since that has not been done before. So the purpose of travel authorization platform is to help digitize our travel management. So we know that before now, to travel, we've always had to go through the manual process of reaching out to your line manager, reaching out to the admin, that you want to travel to this location, to that location, reach out to them again to get really approval. So everything has been done manually, as we all know. So what this platform does is to help us digitize that process. So instead of going manual, we are having everything on an app. So you can just come on this app to create a travel request, which gets to your line manager, then your MD, who then approve it. And you also get notifications that your travel has been approved. Then you also get travel details, like for example, the vehicle that is taking you on your trip, the hotel you'll be lodging, your accommodation. So you get all this information on this platform instead of having to go through the tedious manual process of waiting to hear back if your travel has been approved or not, and to get all that information. So I think this is what the platform is basically. So that is what it does. So can I proceed now with showing the platform?
Yes, please.
Okay. So as I was saying earlier, for you to use this platform, you need to be invited to use the platform. So you can't just go on to create an account on the website. You need to be invited as a staff of the organization before you can use this platform. So in this session now, I'm showing an invite already sent to this user. So in this case, this is an employee who has been invited already to use the Optima travel authorization app, and I'll go on to accept an invite. When you accept these invites, you get to complete your account setup. So you have to fill in details, your details, to complete your registration. That's from accepting the invite. So I'll go on here. So this is a sample employee ID. So first name, enter your first name, you enter your last name. So you select your subsidiary. So CapitalSage, we have a lot of subsidiaries. So you have to select the subsidiary where you work particularly. So for purpose of this, I'll be selecting information technology. It's my subsidiary. So the subsidiaries have been filled. You can go on to look for a subsidiary and select it accordingly. So under each subsidiary, there are units. You have different units in a subsidiary, maybe your operations, your customer support. So your units will have been pre-filled under your subsidiary, and you go on to select it. So for the purpose of this session, I already created a unit under the information technologies subsidiary called KSS Optima Training Unit. So I'll click on that. Then I'll select my line manager. So for every employee, I would say that we all have line managers. So you can go on to select who your line manager is. There is already a list of all other employees on the platform who are members of an organization. So you can go on to search for your line manager and select where accordingly. So I'll do that now. Please search. Okay. Then you go on to create your password. So there are specific password requirements that must be met when you're creating a password. So a password must have at least 8 characters, one uppercase character, one lowercase, one number, and at least one special character. So this is a sample password that is meeting all password requirements. So you have signed up successfully. So you log in now, your email and password. Okay. I'll just hush. Okay. So when you log in, this is what the interface looks like. Hello, can you confirm you can still see my screen and we are still following me, please?
Yes, we can see you and hear you clearly.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So once you're logged in, you get to this interface. So it is meant to be zeros. I've created one request here already. So when you log in right now, you can create a travel request and you can come on here to the next item to view all your requests. So I'll go on to create a travel request. Show us how to create one. Okay. So to create a request, you need the following details. You need to provide the title of your request. So let's say you're traveling from Oyo, from the Ibadan office, you're traveling to maybe Ondo for, let's say, a routine checkup. You can actually add that as the title of your request. So yeah. So next, it's a compulsory description field. So just a reason or the purpose of that particular travel. So write the description here. Then you select your country. So right now, Nigeria. Then your transportation type. Are you traveling by road or by air? So just example, selecting by road. So you can also decide if you need a vehicle and a driver. So if you're traveling and probably do not need a vehicle driver, you can select no. But if you do need one, you can go on to select yes, so that whoever is pressing your request knows to assign you a vehicle and a driver. So next is the nature of your travel. Is it a local travel or an international travel? It is international, you get to select international. It is local, you get to select local. So for the sake of this training, I'll just go on local. So for trip type, there are three different trip types. So a one-way trip means that you're just going like from Ibadan to, let's say, Akure. In the situation of a round trip, you are going from Ibadan to Akure, then from Akure back to Ibadan. That means you're going to and fro. Then for multi-city, it means you're traveling to more than one location. You're either going from, let's say you're going from Ibadan, that's Oyo, you're going from Oyo to Akure in Ondo State. Then from Akure, you are going to, let's say Abuja. Then from Abuja, you're going to Kano. So you can enter the number of cities you're traveling. You're traveling to, let's say, 3 cities. Ujo, I can see your hand is raised. I would prefer we take questions after the presentation. So can you just note them down so that once you're done, we'll take questions and answers. Thank you. Okay, so you can enter the number of cities you're traveling. So when you enter that, it populates the number of destinations according to which city you're going. So as I explained earlier, this is one way, just one location. So you select from which state to which state you're going. So let's say you're going from Oyo, you're going from Oyo to Ondo. Yeah, you select from and to, then you select your destination subsidiary. So for every traveling you make, there's a subsidiary that destination you're going. So let's say you're going from Oyo, for example. Let's say you're living from Ekas. Ekas is your subsidiary in Oyo. Let's say you're living from Ekas as a subsidiary. You're going to Ondo, then you're going to Ileoluji as a subsidiary in Ondo State. So you get to select that your destination subsidiary is Ileoluji. You select that subsidiary. So, okay. Let me just pick John Vance in this case. So here's session subsidiaries John Vance, your travel dates. You need to select which is that day you're traveling, and when you're coming back. That's your return date. So let's say I'm traveling today on the let's say I'm traveling on the 24th, on Saturday 24th. Here. So let's say we're traveling on the 24th, you're returning on probably 30th of August. So you get to select your travel dates and your return dates. If you have any other additional information about this travel that you want to add to this, you can actually add that information. Okay, so this is actually optional. Then for supporting documents, let's say you're traveling on an invitation. There's an invitation for you to attend. Maybe it's an event, for example. You can actually click to upload that invitation. You can select from your browser and actually upload it here. So I just upload something. Yeah, so it is already added here as a list of supporting documents. Then you can go on to submit your travel requests. Please. Start dates and end dates. Okay, let me do this again. Apologies for that.
Take sometimes in September for now, so that you can move on.
Okay, so
Early September.
okay. Okay. So your travel request has been successfully created. So you can see this on your list of pending requests. So the reason it is pending is because it is yet to be approved. So you can see the travel request here. You can view your request details, and you can also withdraw your request. So in situation where you have made a mistake on your travel request, or probably you're no longer going on that travel, as long as that travel is not approved, you can withdraw the request here. So this is your travel request. So this request actually goes to your line manager, the line manager whom you have selected at the point of your registration. So immediately that line manager logs on their own Optima dashboard, they get to see this your request as a pending request, and they can either approve or decline your request. So I would show. Okay, so let me quickly approve that request for the sake of this training session, and you get to see how it is updated on your dashboard. Me, please. Small. So logging in. Okay, let me share my screen. So for line managers who are going to be line managers amongst us, you'll be able to see where this request will turn up. So it's going to show on the others section. It's going to show here on the others if you are a line manager. So this is dependent on which roles you have. As a user, as a regular employee, you get to see just your own requests. As a line manager, you get to see requests for others, once that pending your approval. I'm presenting my screen again. Okay, can we all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your dashboard as a line manager. You go through the same process we have mentioned earlier as to access the platform. Then when other employees who actually are under you in the line of approval, when they make requests, like the request we just made now, you get to see their travel requests on this section. So you can see your request for you, that's me, and you can see requests for others. These are the ones that are pending your approval. You can see that it is pending. So when you go on, you can either view details of this request, you can approve, or you can reject this request. So view details. Okay, so these are details of the request. So I will just go on to approve these requests. So approve request, approve, request approved. So the updates, the details has been updated to approved by line manager. So I'll go back now to the employees page, the person who created the request initially, and I'm going to load that. Okay, so this is the request you created now. It has now been updated to approved by line manager. So you can get to view details. So as an employee who created this request, you can view details of this request. So immediately this request is finally approved by your MD or your group head, and it's processed by the admin, you get to see details of this request. You get to see your accommodation details, your travel details, the vehicle taking you, and so on. So forward, go back. Yeah. So I'd also like to note that as a line manager, you can also create requests on your dashboard. The same functionalities that are applicable to the regular employee are also applicable to you. The only difference is that you get to approve or decline requests that are pending your approval, while regular employee does not have that access. So as a line manager, this is a line manager's dashboard. You can also create a request just like we did earlier. So this request also goes to your own line manager. So here you can view all total requests as well, and you can search for those requests. You can filter it by status. You can check your approved requests, your declined request, or filter it by dates. So go back to the regular employee. All right. So for travel requests that have already been processed, you get to see that the status has been changed to processed. So you can see that the first one is approved by line manager, the second is processed. So I'll just click on this for you to see how the details look once your travel is already processed. So view details. Yeah. So you can see this was information you filled when you were creating your requests. Then this is the approval details, who approved, your line manager that approved your requests. Then you can see the vehicle that has been assigned. You can see the vehicle details here. So it's going to turn up there once processed, and you can see accommodation details as well. So your secure, the hotel, the room type, and check-in and check-out dates. So once you're back from your travel, you can mark your travel as completed. So come on here, click on this button. So you can add ratings. You can either add rate the driver or rate the hotel where you were lodged. Then in case where there were any other additional expenses, you can actually add them here. So when any other additional expenses incurred, maybe yes or no. For yes, you get enter the total number of expenses incurred. So let's say you incurred one expense. You enter. So this is the first one. So you describe the expense. So this fields are actually very compulsory when you're logging that you made an expense on your trip. So you can say that you maybe probably bought something on your trip, or you booked a cab. You needed to book a cab quickly. So cab. So the expense description. So the amounts probably spent about 2,000 naira. 10,000. So then you have to add the evidence of payment. So probably your receipts, either in PDF or in picture format. You have to add an evidence of your payment for that particular expense. So in case you have any other supporting documents or any other additional comments, you can add them here as well. So you can add comments here. So then you can go on to submit this. Yeah. So immediately you submit that, your trip is updated to being completed, and those expenses that you have made are sent to the admin. So you can also come here to see your post-trip details. So you can view all the information just added now. You can view them on your post-trip details. You can also view the payment evidence that you added earlier. Then in case where you have other comments that you still want to add on this particular trip, you can come on, there's a comment section here where you can add your remarks. So you can just say straight. Then you can submit that. Sorry, for my internet. Yes, so this is essentially what the travel authorization platform is, essentially what it does. So just to streamline our travel processes. So I'd say we take questions now.
All right, Libra, carry on.
Hello, Gladys.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning. This is Samson.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thanks
Right.
for the presentation. But I noticed we only have two modes of transportation, by road and air. So if I want to go by sea, what happens?
All right. So we might need to consider that.
Yeah.
Okay, look for
We
it.
didn't factor that in, but that's an interesting perspective also. I think we'll look at the possibility of that and see how we can incorporate it in subsequent releases.
All right.
But can I just piggyback on him? So maybe sea, but maybe also rail. Some people can go from Lagos to Ibadan by the train. So that might be nice to actually add.
Yeah,
all right, that's noted. We'll factor that in.
Yeah, thank you. That's noted.
Yeah, Deborah, your hand is up.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you, guys, for the presentation. So I have about 4 questions here for my village people, right? So, okay, so let me start with the first one. That is this applicable to intrastate travel? In the case whereby in Ondo State we have like 4 factories, and you want to move from maybe Ileoluji to Owo or to Akure, is this applicable to intrastate travel? Then should I list out all my questions, or you just?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So the second question is, in a situation where a team of people needs to travel or needs to go on a trip, will everybody have to initiate independently, like individually, or somebody needs to initiate for the whole team? Then the third question, if we are visiting different factory within a state, what's the best option? Are we selecting the multiple trip, or a single to and fro, or something, two-way trip or a round trip? That's the third question. And then the fourth question is there a duration to make this request? Like if you want to make a request for travel, is it like you have to apply maybe 24 hours earlier, or you have to apply 30 minutes, 1 hour, or a 1 week thing, so that we can know how to go about it? That's all from my end.
All right. Thank you very much. Gladys, do you want to take that, or do we take other questions first?
I think we should take that first because there are 4 questions, so none falls into the cracks. So the first question you asked, you said if you're traveling to different industries, factories within the same states, yes, you have to select them as multi-city. The reason for that is so you can, obviously, in case you're traveling to different subsidiaries, you can select different subsidiaries for each of that location you're traveling. But if it is still within the same subsidiary, you can actually have to select for multi-city. So just select the same subsidiary for all of those cities you're traveling. So did I answer your first question?
Okay, so I think my first question is this applicable to intra-state travel within Ondo State, and we are going to the different countries? But
yeah, so
yes,
I
it
would
does.
say yes. Yes.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
thank you. That answers everything.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Okay, the next question. You said if you have a team of people traveling, yeah, do they
Together.
travel? Do they initiate individually, or do they? So they get to initiate individually. They are traveling together, though. They get to initiate individually. The admin gets to group them together, and they travel together. So that is applicable when the admin is assigning the vehicle they are taking. So they assign the same vehicle to them depending on the number of seats available. So if 4 people are traveling, they assign to all of them a vehicle with 4 seats, give them the same time, same departure time, and they travel together. But they have to initiate individually so that we know somebody, this particular person traveled to this particular place at this particular time.
Thank you. That's clear.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you said, okay, the last question about the different factories, it is can still be like interstate. Yes, you have to select multiple city when you're traveling. So different factories within the same state. So you just select your subsidiary, the subsidiary that applies to each of those factories at each of those locations. So you just select them.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
There's still one more duration to
So
make the request.
yeah, let me take that. So on duration,
Okay.
I think that the best way to look at it would be we need to get some sort of SLA from the admin team, no doubt. However, I think that it makes sense to order ahead. So if you're traveling today, I don't think that it would be very helpful to raise your request today. But we'll come back. I don't think we have a specific minimum timeline right now that that is codified already. But on the platform, you can select your travel from like tomorrow. I don't think you can raise a request for today. But we will need to have some sort of landing group wide so that we can better understand what will be the minimum time that you can set a request for.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. There are questions. I think we'll move on. Okay, still up there. Your hand is raised.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you for this. So my question is, let's say for instance, I get to travel for a particular project, and then the project is actually supposed to take 10 days. And due to one reason or the other, is that going to take 12 days or is that going to take 8 days? Is there a way to adjust that on the platform?
Okay, so yes, there's going to be a functionality to extend your trip. So when you're traveling and your trip gets extended, you can actually extend your trip on the platform. But that is coming up very soon. So you'll be able to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So next question. Yes, Sulaiman, your hand is raised.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. So I have two questions. One, sometimes because of duty call and nature of duty, there are times that certain trips just happen and there is a need to quickly move. And okay, let me paint a scenario from where I sit. So I have colleagues who report to me, so who oversee functions in the regions. And so something just happened, for instance, it sits in Owo and he needs to quickly move to Idori or from Ileluji to Idori. And he goes on the portal and he books. Of course, it's something that requires urgent attention. He needs to get there maybe within 2-3 hours. Now, the timeline for booking will definitely shortchange that kind of trip. That's number one. So number two, what if he still goes ahead to make that booking and me being the land manager, I'm also in transit already, maybe on another assignment entirely. So how do we take care of such requests? That's the first question. The second question is, so I had booked to overnight in Ibadan, for instance, for assignment, and getting to Ibadan midway into the trip. So I just realized that I won't have to stay in Ibadan. I have to move to Lagos that same day. And already the bookings are taking place, approvals have been obtained ahead of time. So at what point are we expected to make changes? And what if my own line manager, as it were, is not my immediate reach to quickly make adjustments? How does the portal or this application, take care of such situations? I mean, these are practical scenarios I just painted. Thank you.
Okay, I'll let Dan take that question.
Sorry, I think okay. So I didn't get. I think I did get first one, but let me take the ones, and then we can piggyback on the ones that we missed. So what we've done right now on the platform, I think, as at the time Gladys was taking the demo, you can book a travel request from tomorrow. One of the things we can look at is the possibility of allowing users to be able to book travel requests on that same day. However, remember that there's a portion of this platform that we didn't show, which is the admin side. So when a request is raised, it goes to the line manager. In the case where the line manager, is not the MD, that request goes to the MD for final approval before it goes to either MD or unit head, before it goes to the admin for admin to actually action it. Now, in situations where travels need to be made urgently, admin is still going to be involved. Maybe what we can do, we can think about how to handle that, is to create this extra layer of approval, or rather, a situation we can discuss with the admin team on how best to implement that, such that if the line manager is not available immediately, does it make sense for admin to see that request and maybe put a call through? We'll look at how best, so that we also don't compromise the integrity of the data we're also trying to gather on the platform, that especially for travel requests that are urgent, because either way, hotels still needs to be booked, vehicles still needs to be made available, which is really one of the key problems. That's one of the key features of the platform from the admin side. So we look at how best to manage that jointly with the product owners. That's on the one hand. I think that I might have missed the other question. Oh, the other question is the possibility of like Gladys said, there's a possibility for you to extend your request. Maybe what we then need to look at is ability. So if you're meant to spend 3 days and you realize you now need to spend a day, for instance, rather than 3 days, I will look at how we can accommodate that extra leg. That's also something that happens all the time, but sure, it definitely can happen. However, on the part that is outside of the system, for instance, if the admin made provision for hotel reservation for 3 days, for instance, if payment has not been made, that's simple. If payment has been made ahead of time, I don't know how that happens under the hood. That leg is outside of the system. I believe that we can always understand how that is currently being done and how we want to factor it into the system. I don't know if I missed anyone or if I've answered the question.
Thank you, Mr. Dan.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Taiwo. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Gladys, for this. Okay, so my second question has just been answered. That's about impromptu traveling. So my first question is, I would like to paint a scenario. Like, okay, I work in Ibadan. I work with ECAS. ECAS also have staff in Lagos, staff in Abuja, staff in Kano. And there are times before now when we have to travel, I have to leave from Ibadan. Then the staff in Lagos asked to block me somewhere. I had to pick her somewhere. Maybe we say, let's meet at Shagam. And we go on that particular trip. Let's say we are going to Abeokuta, for example. Now with this platform, if I had to request that I'm going, I will request for a car. If she has to come from Lagos, I have to pick her from Shagam. Is she going to request for a car? What happens to that car at that point? Is the car dropping her? I'm kind of like thinking it in my head that how does this work for staff in different locations, but you have to meet at some point? Are we requesting differently? How does it work?
Correct. So on the back end, like I mentioned, there is an admin site that we're not showing during this demo. That's because the admin team are already aware of how to use that part. The admin can decide how all of those things would work under the hood. So two people have, and which is why it makes sense for the two individuals to make their request individually. It goes to the same line manager, it gets approved. But on the back end, the admin can then assign the same vehicle to both of them. The logistics around where they will meet and all of that can be, it doesn't necessarily have to be codified in a very hard way on the platform. So the admin can use the chat functionality on the platform to drop messages for the employees to say, hey, this is what your travel structure is going to look like. You guys are using the same vehicle. You'll be picked up at so time, you pick up at so time. I think that the admin can decide. So it just goes to on the back end, the admin can manage all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, Simi.
Steven.
No, I think Simi wants to provide some context on that.
Okay.
No, so Daniel, you have answered the question properly. So at the admin end, admin would always organize how the movement would work. So if there are exigencies or there are situations which will be outliers, just engage your admin. So for example, ECAS has one admin, and so that person would see everything that is required to be done, for them. And if it's a case of where you're Ibadan, the admin you're dealing with is the Ibadan admin, for example, and maybe the other person has to deal with the Lagos admin. Between both of them, they would work together to make it a seamless trip for all staff.
Thank you, Simi.
But I had a question, so I'll go back on the queue after the other two people as well.
All right, Abidemi.
Okay, good morning, Daniel. Good morning, everyone. So my question is, so how do I follow up on the progress of my requests? So do I get notification by mail?
Yes.
Just
Okay.
follow up.
Yes, you do.
Yes, so you
for
get
every action
notification.
Sorry.
Carry on. So you get notifications for every action that is being performed when an approval is made. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, when you log into the platform, you actually also see state of that request in real time. So you get to see where it is. You know, if it has been approved, for instance, by say a line manager or an MD, and there's some requests that, depending on, for instance, the total cost of that request, may require the ED's approval, for instance. So for that kind of request, after it has been approved, say by the line manager, the MD or the unit head, also, if that kind of request requires the ED's approval, you also get to see that, oh, it's been approved by the MD, it's currently waiting on the ED for approval. So yes, so you get to have all of those communicated both by email notifications and directly on the app also.
Okay, that will be all from me. Thank you.
All right, Stephen. Stephen Ajibola. You're muted if you're speaking. Okay.
I think Siri should go first, then if Siri is not available.
Okay, so my question is more for the admin team. Do they get notifications at every point in time? By that, I mean somebody has put in a request, the request has been approved, all of that, right? Do they get a notification when the request has come in, when it has been approved, each step of the way? Or is it just upon approval?
All right, I think it's upon approval. Yeah, but we can look at the requirement to see if for instance, we need to expand that notification to cover at the different step. But we're also worried about the risk of clogging, you know, the emails of the admin, especially when the request has not gotten to them yet. But we can deal with that too.
Okay, so maybe just the first one. So it might be nice for an admin to know Simi has made a request. That's fine. And then maybe upon approval, the person finds out. So that there's also, and this just ties into what CSO had mentioned, so that there's also no time lag, you know. So once at least admin is aware, upon approval, admin just processes versus just waiting until it's approved. So if that's doable, please, that would be nice.
All right, that's fine. All right, that's duly noted. Stephen, are you ready? Or
oh yeah, I am. Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for the presentation. So my question is this: if I'm choosing an international flight, and there are situations where, because of proximity to airports, you need to first engage a local trip. Is there a provision for that? Say, okay, I'm to catch a trip in, say, maybe Abuja or in Lagos, and I'm living in Akure or Ibadan. So what's the provision for that?
Okay, let me take that question. So as I was explained earlier, that you can either decide to, you can select if you require a vehicle and a driver or not. So for situations where you're traveling, let's say you're going to the airport, as you said, and you need a vehicle and a driver to convey you to the airport before you book your flight, you can actually select that, oh yes, I need a vehicle and a driver. So the admin gets to know they need to provide you a vehicle and a driver, though your trip is international, so it can convey you to the point where you're booking your flights. You're taking your flight rather. So I've answered your question, Stephen.
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Gladys.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, they are both similar. Let's take your question.
Good morning. Thanks for the presentation. So I just wanted to confirm if Gambia is being considered in this platform, because so we have travels also in Gambia. We have states. We have places we go in Gambia that is outside. We have states. We have places that we travel to. So, but I'm not sure I see that during the presentation. So does this platform applies to Nigerians alone, or it works for Gambia as well and other countries? So that's my question.
It applies to Gambia as well. and other countries. So there's a drop down that you could select your country from wherever you're traveling. So you can just select Gambia when you want to create your request.
I would appreciate if you could take a look. I don't know if it's going to take it. If it's going to take time, but if you would, if you can actually take a look, or maybe another session for Gambian stars.
Yeah. Okay. I would say we continue other questions while I check up if we can still have time to present that. So the questions do not we do not miss out on them. And if there's no more time, we can book another session for Gambia. So do you have any other questions before I share my screen?
Yes, I have my hand raised. This is Pamela.
Okay. Yes,
Right.
Pamela, please. One.
All right. So yeah, thank you so far. Quite clear in terms of what has been communicated. So mine is more of a suggestion, and this is in line with the group bookings. If we have, say, a party of 20 traveling, and everybody has to go and enter their own individual travel requests, I know that even though back-end admin has access, wouldn't it be cleaner if it were a group booking and just one person is making requests, but they are also going to be clicking the number of people who are on that travel party, say they are 10, they are 15, they are 20, they are putting them in there, and then that request is synchronized, rather than have each person enter different dates, or if they don't have the entire details. I don't know. It might be cleaner to have that option, but if it's an individual travel, then of course, every other person can go put it. But if we have like a number exceeding maybe 5 or exceeding maybe 10, you can then say, oh, this has to be booking. Thank you. Just a recommendation.
Yeah, so thanks, Pamela. That's a feature that we have is currently on ice. So we intend to do it that way eventually in a later release. But we decided to go this. So bear with us in the meantime while we then release that feature. So group booking is a feature that is on the way.
Okay, but Daniel, when it comes to the accounting, I think there are a number of things that need to be put into consideration. Good morning, this is Moyo.
Yeah, good morning,
For
Moyo.
example, for the per diem, depending on the cadre and all, there are different rates.
Yeah.
If, for example, 10 people travel, nothing says that the itinerary would be exact, even within that group booking. Some people may come back before others and all. So I think you also need to put that into consideration, even though that option is on ice.
Yes, that's correct. So it is because we couldn't answer most of those questions yet. That's why we decided to just put it on ice until we're able to identify how do we deal with, like you said, the different potential for different itinerary. Some may even need to come back earlier than the others. So there are lots of edge cases. So later on we'll look into it together and then we'll figure out how to proceed on it. Thanks, Maria, for that context.
All right. Sorry, this is Philip. I would love to ask about, let's say, for marketing and communication department, we went to an event and then we do know that we will probably need a particular equipment or gadget. How do we request that admin gets us the vehicle to probably transport it to where we are or something?
Sorry, can you take the question again? Apologies.
All right, so I said, so for marketing and communication department, let's say we traveled somewhere and then we needed a particular gadget or equipment which we left behind, maybe because we don't know we need it at that particular event. How do we request again? I mean, to get the equipment to get to us where we are. I mean, probably to tell admin to share again.
So we might need to make that request outside the platform for now, given that in the case of this request, maybe I mean there will be the platform doesn't exactly solve that because for instance there's no per diem involved for this equipment. There's a lot of so we need to look at how best to manage that. Discuss with the admin team. Maybe the admin team can look for a vehicle that is coming towards that direction around that period that can help convey that equipment. But I believe that the logistics of that equipment may need to then be handled outside of the platform for now. But we can always think about this and see if there's a way we can also factor it in sometimes later in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. Do we have any other questions in the house?
All right. I think that brings us to the end. Olalu, over to you. Thanks, Gladys.
Thank you so much, IT team, for this wonderful presentation. We sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Please kindly check the chat box. There is a link for attendance for this KSS session. Please kindly ensure you take the attendance. Ensure you attend, to that. Just go to the chat box. You see a link that has attendance notification. Please kindly ensure that you fill. Somebody raised his hand. I get that. Okay, the hand is lowered. All right, I think we can at this point wrap up and go back to our various. Okay, we have Kinde. Let's take Kinde lastly, please. Kinde, please unmute and speak.
Good morning. Thanks for the presentation. I just want to ask, I discovered most of the answers or the requests, some are will be carried out by the drivers and assertion of vehicles. So I want to ask, the process of drivers and vehicles, I know it will be done by the admin. So what is the process of the driver in particular? Are they going to be using this platform or the admin will do their process from the end? What's the process of drivers that will be going on the trip?
Okay, so the drivers would not be using this platform, at least for now. The admin would undo that part from the back end. The assignment of driver, assignment of vehicle, all that is done by the admin for now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, once again, for your attendance. Please ensure that you fill the link in the chat box. I think at this point, we can begin to drop on the call, ensure that you fill the attendance in the chat.
Sorry, sir, can you kindly share the attendance link again, please?
Okay, I'm going to do
Please, the
that
link is not in
again.
the box, please.
Okay, I'm going to do that again. Okay, so it's there now. Please kindly check the chat box now and fill your attendance in the link. Thank you so much. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of, have a good weekend, Thank you so much for joining once again.
Thanks, Ola. Share money for us. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you, Ola. We
All
still
right.
need to Thank you.
All right, thank you.
For those that join on YouTube, I think we need to find a way to drop the link for them. Hola. 14 people joined on the
Is there,
so maybe we can just drop it in the
way,
WhatsApp.
Is there a way? Okay. All right.
Okay, unfortunately. Let me see.
Is there a chat Is there a chat box on YouTube?
Yes,
Yes, a chat box or a
There is.
screenshot
There's a
of
comment
the
section. Okay.
What? What is that? Hello, Ella.
Yes, sir.
Yes, there.
Yeah, this is Paul Adebayo.
Mr. Paul.
I said some of us also use one laptop for more than one user. So how do you go about that? Like I'm using this. Will you drop the attendance too on personally with us or what?
Okay. I didn't get the question. Sorry, the line was breaking.
I said some of us use one laptop. Two or three people use one laptop. Use one gadget to participate in this KSS.
Okay. All right, we can share the attendance on groups on WhatsApp for such people.
Okay, so I'm one of them. Maybe I'm the ambassador. Every other person should please talk now. Thank you.
All right, we'll share it. We'll share it. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.